when we got our 55 missions in, they they sent us to a rest area near Fez, Morocco, and to wait for our final orders. Well, we thought they might keep us over there, and we'd be flying with MATs, flying C-47s around when they had regular routes that they flew in that area. But fortunately, our orders said to get back to the States as any way you could. And of course, we wanted to fly back. And so we'd go to an airfield that was flying back to the States and get our name on a manifest, then go back in a few hours and check it. And invariably, we'd be scratched. And because they had priorities on these orders, and we were always knocked off. So we heard about a ship that was leaving Casablanca in a couple of days, and we rushed to Casablanca and got our name on it. We were the last ones on that little ship. It was called the Empress of Scotland at the time. It had been the Empress of Japan, and they changed the name. And this was a little ship that went from Vancouver up through the islands to Alaska. And they took it and took the staterooms and put well, they just stacked beds in there, three high and 18 inches apart, in every stateroom. And anyway, when we got on that ship, since we were pilots and airmen, they asked us if we'd mind standing watch. This little ship had a crow's nest on a big mast, front and aft. They'd asked us if we mind standing submarine watch. This was in 43, late 43, and there was still a lot of submarine activity on the Atlantic, and we were going to sail back to the States all by ourselves. And they asked us if we'd mind standing watch, so we were on 4 hours and off 12 for the rest of that, for the trip over, which took us 8 days. The ship was full, and we hit a storm about 2 days out, and I'd never been on a ship on the ocean before. I didn't think that little thing was going to make it. The waves got 40 feet high, and it was blowing and winding, and that little ship would get up on top of one of those 40-foot waves, go sailing down the other side, and clear into the next wave, clear up to the conning tower, and then it would come shaking up out of there, then climb up the next wave and do the same thing all over again. And the only people that showed up at the mess hall were the regular crew and the airmen on that boat. The rest of them were all hungover or something. But you weren't allowed to go anywhere on that ship without having your Mae West with you. And we didn't see anything when we were looking for submarines, but they had some primitive detection devices, and they did hear a lot of noise, but we never saw anything. And when we got there, we woke up one morning, and sure enough, there's land. And is it about over?
You still got time.
Yeah, there was land, and we were standing off waiting for somebody to come and take us in through the minefield. And we landed at Newport News, and there was a band there playing music for us, which was kind of nice. When we got to Newport News, there were some trains there, and they put us on a train that one of the stops was Cincinnati, and there were 3 of us from Cincinnati. We got off the train, and shoot, we were met by all the local papers and radio station people, and that was kind of neat.
So you had a good homecoming then.
Yeah, had our picture in the paper.
Were your parents and family happy?
Oh yeah, they knew they had they let us notify our parents, and they were there waiting at the station for us. That was neat.